Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 5 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 5-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 2 minutes from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 2-minute time check, stations. Attention, stations on the network. Our broadcast will begin in 1 minute from my mark. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, mark. That was your 1-minute time check, stations.
Hawkeyes Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. This is Hawk Talk, brought to you by Iowa Corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By your local Ford dealers. Also brought to you by U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. And by University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. Here is your host, the voice of the Hawkeyes, Gary Dolphin.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome into our Hawk Talk program, the Week 3 sit-down with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. Coach will join us shortly after 7 o'clock, as he usually does, and we'll rehash from his perspective the Iowa State game over at Kinnick on Saturday, a 20-19 annoying, heartbreaking loss for the Hawkeyes. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but the bottom line is the Cyclones rallied in the second half after the Hawks had built a 19-7 lead, got up 13-0, and the first half actually took that first 13-0 lead to the locker room, and no doubt felt they should have had more points, a couple first and goals inside the 5, and then have to settle for field goals on both trips. That probably was a tip-off as to what was to come. And then, of course, the offense struggled in that second half, due in large part to the Iowa State defense. And the Cyclones are legit, especially in that secondary. They got outstanding safeties led by Bo Freeler. But several of those guys will be playing on Sunday afternoon next year in the National Football League. And it came down to a redshirt freshman from Dubuque. Young man kicked a 54-yard field goal, would have been good from 64. And the Cyclones escape Kinnick Stadium with the Cy-Hawk trophy, at least for the next year. And now it's on to Troy, the Trojans from Troy University in Alabama, that we'll talk about in depth when Coach comes by here a little bit after 7 o'clock. We're at our friends hosting us, as usual, View Rooftop, downtown Iowa City, inside the Hilton Garden Inn. Take the elevators up as far as you can go to the 12th floor. We got a beautiful panoramic view of the campus and of downtown Iowa City and the surrounding terrain of Johnson County. And it is an absolutely gorgeous evening in Iowa City and surrounding area. So it's a good evening to bring the family and friends out for dinner. You can sit out outdoors if you prefer. Outside on the patio, the wait staff, bartenders, waitress and waiters are hard at work, and we got a really good crowd here early on for Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. Iowa now 1-1. The Cyclones moved out to a 2-0 record. Lots of good in that game last week. The defense certainly will tell you they should have stepped up and played tougher in the last drive. But Iowa State made some plays. Rocco Beck is steady and sturdy, and their receivers are terrific. There's no question about that. And they put together big plays in that final drive that set up the game-winning field goal for Iowa State. So the regular season finale, non-conference finale, starts at 3 o'clock. Let me talk about Troy first. 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. And it's the annual Harvest Kickoff Gold Game and Family Weekend in Kinnick. Fans, you're encouraged. You're coming to the game. Of course, another sellout. You're encouraged to wear gold apparel, gold clothing, because it is the gold out game. The star last week, again, junior running back Caleb Johnson. KJ has posted back-to-back 100-yard games. He now has 6 career 100-yard rushing contests. He had 187 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Iowa State Cyclones. That's the most by the Hawkeyes against Iowa State since way back in 1996, when a guy named Tavian Banks was running up and down the field. Here's what's remarkable about Caleb Johnson's play. He has 5 runs of 25-plus yards this young season. 2 have gone for over 50. and his 161 all-purpose yards per game ranks 7th nationally. We've always known he can catch the football as well, but when you talk to the players as to where the improvement has come in Caleb Johnson's performances, it runs the gamut. Bigger, stronger, therefore faster. Call it weightlifting. Just paying attention to detail. Probably a better diet. He's up around 220 pounds now at 6'2". NFL scouts are drooling over this guy. Kyler Fisher, who had to run into Caleb Johnson all fall long in practice, one of Iowa's outstanding young linebackers, says this about his growth.
I think the difference from maybe past years is that I've seen personally is he is moving his feet on contact. Like he's really digging for extra yards. And, I think that's just a wonderful thing to see from him. Great development from him over the last couple of years. So, as a player, I think he's doing really good.
Wide receiver Jacob Gill has been a terrific find for the Hawkeyes since transferring in from Northwestern this past offseason. He's on the field when Caleb Johnson is.
He does an amazing job. All of our backs do a great job. He's been reaping the benefits. We all just work incredibly hard for them to open up holes from the O-line to the receivers, tight ends, just working for each other. I think that we harp on that as an offense, just playing for the guy next to us, and then that's just showing on Saturdays with Caleb's production. He's doing a great job. He works hard. He's a great player on and off the field, so I'm happy for him.
Former Northwestern Wildcat Jacob Gill, who's off to a terrific start through 2 weeks. Of course, we don't want to overlook the offensive line. The offensive line has been really solid where the Hawks are rushing the football. Connor Colby has been a fixture at right guard for 5 years, and he talks about the veteran leadership in that offensive line, tackle to tackle. Part of the reason for their solid play is they're healthy and they've been together a long time.
I think it kind of helps, knowing what they're going to do on certain stuff, without having to communicate with them. You kind of know how they're going to play things just based off the alignment. So that definitely helps out a lot. Just kind of makes the communication a lot more clear up there.
Connor Colby on Iowa's offensive attack. And he said after that, we need to finish drives off. The Hawks had a first and goal at the 1, a first and goal, I believe it was at the 3. And there was a penalty in there that certainly dirtied things up, and they ended up settling for 2 field goals. You get 1 touchdown there, one 6-pointer plus extra point, and in all probability, you're not worrying about the end of the game. But it is what it is, and you credit the Cyclones, who has Iowa State with an outstanding defense as well. And now you move on to Troy. So there's lots of football left, 10 games remaining on this regular season schedule. So let's not turn on the Hawkeyes. The Hawks had won 6 of 7 and 8 of 10 from Iowa State. It's not like Iowa State had dominated the series. But Matt Campbell's a good coach, too, and he's a good recruiter, and his staff came to play, as did the Hawkeyes. Another tight game. Predictability. You could have predicted that's the way this thing was going to come down to a special teams play. And the Cyclones made it when it counted most on the 54-yard field goal. The young man had notched one through from 46 yards. That's what got my attention in that second half when he brought the Cyclones to within 2, and then of course the game winner as time was about to expire. It's quite the wild ending as usual between Iowa and Iowa State. So the Hawks move on at 1 victory and 1 defeat, and now they welcome in for the first time ever the Troy Trojans out of Alabama. This is a program that has been historically outstanding. Troy has won multiple Division II championships. They have an FCS, a football championship series title, and 30, 40 years ago they made the move to Division I. I liken it to a MAC school. Any of those kids in Alabama obviously one of the great high school football states in the Union. Any kid in Alabama that doesn't get offered by Alabama or Auburn, they usually and they're good enough. They usually end up at Troy, and the proof's in the pudding. They have a first-year coach, therefore a first-year new staff. The head coach is Gerard Parker, and he's got some Big Ten experience. He was on the staff at Penn State. He was on the staff at Purdue. In fact, in 2016, when Darrell Hazel was let go at the end of the season, Gerard Parker stepped in and was the interim head coach for one game at the end of the 2016 season when Purdue really struggled. They did not retain him. He moved on. He was the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame before taking over at Troy University in the off season. Grew up in West Virginia, played at Kentucky, mainly as a tight end. Gerard Parker, the head coach, so he's just getting his feet wet down there in the Great South at Troy University, and he's confident he's going to build a solid program. We'll talk more about Parker and the Trojans of Troy when Coach Ferentz gets here a little bit later on. We're at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. We invite you to come out each and every Wednesday night. View Rooftop, you can experience a high-energy rooftop bar with spectacular views of downtown Iowa City. View Rooftop, located on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden Inn in Iowa City, featuring a distinctly modern escape filled with a unique outdoor design. Open all day on Hawkeye football game days with tailgate specials. It's View, V-U-E, View Rooftop, providing a memorable experience with food, music, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline. Here's the phone number. You can call right tonight for reservations this weekend if you're not going to the game. 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. Set up your View Rooftop reservation today. If you're watching on Channel 9.2 KCRG or the official Iowa Hawkeyes YouTube page, you've been seeing highlights from last week's game, highlights of Caleb Johnson, still pictures of Jacob Gill and Kyler Fisher on what they think of Caleb Johnson. So our gratitude, our eternal thanks to KCRG 9.2, Aaron and her staff. The guys are here tonight bringing you quality pictorial review with our audio. If you'd like to join us on the Hawkeye Radio Network, please do. If you have a question or a comment for Coach Ferentz, multiple ways you can reach us on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. That's on Twitter at Gary Dolphin. Facebook, facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. The U.S. Cellular text line. We've got that opportunity, that option now this football season. All you do is dial 319 or punch in 319-853-8344. 319-853-8344. Text us your question or comment for Coach Ferentz. Whether it's about the Iowa State game or looking ahead to Troy, we'd love to hear from you. Now you can also email us. Email us, are you ready? Email your question at hawktalk@hawkeyeradionetwork.com. Simple enough. hawktalk@hawkeyeradionetwork.com. Of course, big picture today was, if you're old enough, where were you 23 years ago this day on 9/11, September 11th, 2001? I remember it vividly. I had been in Iowa City most of Monday, September 10th, talking with Coach and preparing for that week's Iowa State game. The Hawks were to play at Iowa State in Ames at Jack Trice in Cyclone Stadium that Saturday. I got home late Monday night, went to bed, got up, and I just kind of settled in on the couch with that first cup of coffee about 9 o'clock the next morning, flipped the TV on to catch the either Good Morning America or Today or CBS, I can't remember which one, and then all of a sudden it happened. The terrorist attack on the Twin Towers, a jet airliner flown right into the, I think it was the North Tower that got hit first. I could be wrong on that. And my mouth just dropped. My jaw hit the floor. I said, you got to be kidding me. And then only moments later, a few moments later, the South Tower was hit. And it all started. And the world has never been the same. And we all know what has happened in terms of our incredible men and women of the United States military, how they have defended this country and gone after the terrorists, including Osama bin Laden, who was eliminated a few years ago under President Obama's watch. And yet today it is still tedious, tenuous, and threatening in the world we live in. 23 years ago today, it all changed. I had a meeting with Coach Ferentz the next day. Dan McCarney was in his office in Ames, and they called off the Iowa Iowa State football game and pushed it to the end of the schedule in November. I can't remember if it was Thanksgiving weekend or shortly thereafter. The Hawks and the Cyclones did play, but that's my most vivid memory of that year. I'm a big military history buff. I love history in general, and I've said this publicly. I'd have been a history teacher had I not gone into broadcasting. So I've had the extreme honor of being at all three locations that were hit by airliner crashes that day. Of course, the Twin Towers in Midtown Manhattan, in the Pentagon, visited there after that jet was flown into the Pentagon and the devastation there. And then in Pennsylvania, I visited that remote timber field, hayfield, where the United flight crashed. It's a very moving. I would suggest you all do that during your lifetime. Make all three locations part of your destination, whether it's on vacation or a special trip. You won't regret it. So we remember the 3,000 fellow Americans who died on this date in 2001, 9/11 of 2001. And we think of all the firemen, all the police officers, the EMTs, the rescue workers that risked their lives, and many lost their lives entering the Twin Towers in particular, but at the Pentagon as well, that lost their lives on this date in 2001. Okay, you've got the ways you can reach us on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. We appreciate your attendance. A little bit later on, we're going to meet this week's kid captain from the University of Iowa. What a great story that feature is. Young people who have been treated for cancer and other maladies and setbacks at University of Iowa Stead Family Children's Hospital. It's a big weekend for her. Maya Gilchrist is her name. She's from up the road in Center Point, attends Alburnett High School. We'll meet Maya via audio a little bit later on in the program. When we come back, though, all the fall sports are in action now. And what's better than University of Iowa field hockey, one of the great programs historically in the game, and they're off to a phenomenal start. They're ranked number 6 in the National Field Hockey Coaches Association poll. And Lisa Salucci, their all-world coach, she's the best in the business. She joins us for a 5-minute visit here on the Coach Ferentz Show, Hawk Talk, when we come back to view Rooftop from Learfield.
Hey, Hawkeyes, this is Coach Ferentz. We're excited to partner with Iowa Corn for another football season. And Iowa Corn is pumped up for the season with the Hawkeyes. For those of you that drive to the game, support Iowa's corn farmers by selecting unleaded 88 at the pump. It's a fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet. It's worth the hype. Get pumped up for unleaded 88. Let's go, Hawks.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list, clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024 U.S. Bank.
Hey, Hawkeyes, this is Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success on the field and off the field requires a strong work ethic and constant improvement. That's true no matter what field you're on. There are less than 5% of Iowans making a living off the land. The Hawkeyes are proud to celebrate Iowa's hardworking farm families. Agriculture touches lives in so many ways. We feel it's important to recognize the men and women responsible for producing our nation's food, fuel, and fiber. Farmers are the backbone of the state of Iowa and the whole country. That's why our players are proud to wear the A&F logo on their helmets. It serves as a reminder to all of us, America needs farmers. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate America's farmers during A&F Game Day on October 12th. You could win the ultimate A&F fan package, 4 reserve seats, sideline access, and an autographed football. To register, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Iowa football coach Kirk Ferentz. Kirk will be joining us shortly. I'm Gary Dolphin. Welcome back to View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. We're right on top. We sit right on top of the gorgeous Hilton Garden Inn. If you're planning a weekend stay in Iowa City, I suggest you give the Hilton Garden Inn a call. They are waiting to serve you in so many ways. We're proud to dedicate this weekend's Hawkeye football game against Troy as the 9th annual Harvest Game, paying tribute to farmers across the great state of Iowa. A special thanks to our Harvest Game partners, including your Iowa John Deere dealers, FS Envision Seed Corn, and Farm Credit Services of America. Nobody works harder than our American farmers, our Iowa farmers, unless it's Iowa field hockey. You don't go to 28 NCAA tournaments historically without working hard, without playing together like our farmers. They join in unison when they're out in the fields. The Hawks have made 12 NCAA Final Four appearances, 12. Yes, you heard me right, including the 1986 National Championship team. And with us is, she's a Hall of Famer, Lisa Salucci, who not only was a great player here at Iowa, now she's an outstanding coach. And the Hawks are ranked number 6 this week in the Field Hockey Coaches Association poll. Now try this number on, gang. The Hawks have been ranked in 84 consecutive polls dating back to 2016. That's almost a decade. They've never been out of the top 25. Coach Salucci, first off, great to see you again. You've won 7 straight season openers. You won your home opener last Friday against Miami, Ohio, 2-0. Let's go back to the start of the season in Ann Arbor. You beat quality opponents there, including Wake Forest.
Yep. Yeah, we always start the season with the Big Ten ACC Challenge. We've been doing it for 22 years. Michigan hosted it this year and started off playing Wake Forest. They were ranked 15 in the national poll and had a great win and actually double overtime shootout win, and then faced off against number 2 North Carolina the next day. And really close, narrow loss, but we have a super young team, but was really impressed with how they opened up the weekend.
You returned 9 starters, 17 total letter winners. And we've been talking about Diane Van Alsem not only in the early season here. She led the nation with 28 goals and was last year's Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Let's start with her. How has she improved her game?
Yeah, she's been great. I mean, she was outstanding last year, first-team National All-American. She had a little medical procedure late in the summer, so she's off to a little bit slower start than she normally would, but she's back on the field for us. She scored the winning shootout against Wake Forest, and she's just a force. Teams are double, triple teaming her, so it's really opening up some other things for the rest of the people on the team.
Got to have somebody to stop goals at the other end, and hardly anyone better than Mia Magnotta.
Yeah. Mia Magnotta's been. This will be her 3rd year starting in the goal, and when you have goal scoring and goalkeeping, you're always in contention. So she's been fantastic. She was unreal against Miami of Ohio and against North Carolina, and she's going to need to be big this weekend too. I'm
big on hometowns. 40 Fort. Pennsylvania. It's almost like you mispronounced 44. Yeah. 40 Fort, PA. Where is 40 Fort, Pennsylvania?
Right near Scranton, Pennsylvania. So all the Office fans, there.
And you got Alex Wisniewski from there as well. So that's pretty. Pennsylvania really, granted, New England, the East, but Pennsylvania has been a great fertile recruiting ground for Iowa.
Yeah, it has. That's where I'm from. Grew up outside the Philadelphia area, and that's just a hotbed of field hockey. So we have a lot of players from Philadelphia, New Jersey, some newcomers from that area that are doing great, and we're continuing to just hit that area and try to get great Hawks out here.
Leva Van Kessel is from the Netherlands. So you field hockey is as international as it gets now with recruiting. It's a great sport overseas as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, field hockey is one of the most popular sports in the world. Actually, over in Europe, there's 20 to 30,000 people in the stands. So we have a couple players from Europe, from England, from the Netherlands, and Lisa Van Kessel was an outstanding freshman for us last year. Unfortunately, tore her ACL in the middle of the season last year, but is back and is doing great. She's been unbelievable at her rehab, and she's starting again in our midfield.
Another young lady off to a great start is junior Millie Short. She's from Worcester, England. Did I get that right?
You did, yeah.
How about her?
Yeah, Millie's great. She's our center defender. She is unbelievably fit. She's just guiding our defense, and she had a fantastic weekend last year. She's kind of the quarterback back there with our defensive group, and we've been really, really, really tough defensively historically, so we have to keep that going.
You got a big home weekend at Grant Field. Let's start with Friday the 13th. Come on out as the Hawks take on New Hampshire at 2 p.m. at Grant Field, and then you host Delaware on Sunday. A couple of tough schools from the East Coast coming in.
Yeah, two really good NCAA tournament teams. They'll be in the top 25, top 30 in the country. So great weekend at Grant Field. We'd love to have support in the stands. And we have a big anniversary weekend. The 1999 team is coming back, 25th anniversary of their Final Four and Big Ten championship. So we'll have about 20 women back on campus, and we're looking forward to honoring them on Sunday.
Isn't that amazing that 20 people can find their way back to Iowa City? They park whatever they're doing on their schedule.
Absolutely.
I think that exudes, or at least is emblematic of the love that your alums have. Sue Burry went into the Hall of Fame a couple weeks ago from New Jersey. But they love coming back to Iowa City, don't they? They do. A couple years ago when we celebrated the 50th anniversary, we had 118 women come back, which was fantastic. And this team, we've missed a couple anniversaries for them, so I'm glad they're going to be honored at Kinnick and then at field hockey at Grant Field. Coach Lisa Salucci with us from Iowa Field Hockey. 6 straight NCAA tournaments. That is really hard to do. What's been the common denominator, the component, one or two components that have made up 6 straight NCAA tournaments? Yeah, I mean, I think first and foremost it's just the buy-in from our student athletes, just with the culture that we have, and they great recruiting, great coaching. I have a wonderful coaching staff, but the student athletes, they just are bought into what we're doing, what we're about, and we just have had some great talent. So we continue to schedule tough. Right now our schedule's ranked number 1 in the country, so you have to play a tough schedule in hockey to even have a chance to play in the NCAA tournament, and we continue to rise to the occasion. So that speaks volumes for the Big Ten, though, because most of the toughies are in the Big Ten, right? Yes, right now the 7 of the 9 teams are in the top 12. So it's tough every week in and week out, but then you're playing the best, and you just get tested all the time. Knowing you wouldn't have it any other way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Coach, great to see you. Thanks for coming by. Thanks so much for having me on. Coach Lisa Salucci, Iowa Women's Field Hockey. Thanks, Coach, for coming by. This is Hawk Talk with Coach Kirk Ferentz. We're at the top of the hour. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification at View Rooftop, downtown Iowa City. 10-second ID break. You're listening to Hawk Talk with head coach Ferentz. All right, we'll step out, take a break. We're going to talk Hawkeye football from here on out, Iowa and Troy. That is a 3 o'clock kickoff, kind of an odd time on Saturday, but we've got, a dozen TV networks that want to broadcast Big Ten football or televise it. So I believe it's FS1 this weekend. The main theme, though, is you can catch the Hawkeye Radio Network starting at 1 o'clock. We'll have our usual 2-hour-strong pregame coverage beginning at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon. The kick around 3 as the Hawks try to get back above 500 for the young season. Back to View Rooftop in just a minute. This is Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
Tournament Club of Iowa, designed by golf legend Arnold Palmer. TCI is his only signature course in the state. TCI is a public course offering a challenging yet enticing experience for golfers of all levels and is managed by Kaler Golf. Cap off your round with breathtaking views and a delicious meal at the TCI Bar and Grill. Looking for a unique setting for your wedding party or outing? Look no further than the newly renovated clubhouse at TCI. Visit tcofiowa.com to book your tee time today.
Hawk fans, be sure to visit and connect with these local business partners of the Iowa Hawkeyes, located in the Des Moines area, Car Law, Community Choice Credit Union, and Royal Flooring. Royal Flooring is your one-stop shop for the finest things in your home. Find the best material from the most trusted brands in our beautiful, fully stocked showroom in Urbandale, or shop in comfort online at shoproyalflooring.com.
What are you craving? The Wig and Pen in Ankeny across from DMAC is proud to be the home of the famous Flying Tomato Pizza. The Wig has all your favorites, including thin crust and Chicago-style pizza, appetizers, lots of sandwiches, pints of beer, plus a full bar. And this family-friendly local favorite is hiring. All ages are encouraged to apply from 15 to 115. Flexible hours and a fun environment? Call or just come on in. The Wig and Pen in Ankeny. What are you craving?
Hey Hawkeye fans, Lucy Olson with Iowa Women's Basketball here. Your support in the stands is critical to our success on game day, but now you have another way to make a real impact. Join the Swarm today and partner with my teammates and me to serve charities throughout Iowa. Together, we're making our state stronger and helping Iowa athletics become the place where we experience the thrill of winning championships. Head to iowaswarm.com for more information. Let's make a difference, Hawkeye Nation.
In the heartland, where ambition thrives, there are those who are made and those who are made for more. Just like the Hawkeyes on game day, Kloss, a leading producer of ag equipment, unleashes the power of ambition in the field. Discover why our cutting-edge machinery and unwavering support aren't just a promise, they're a commitment to your success. Because at Kloss, we know you are made for more. Visit your Kloss dealer or CLAAS.com.
Cedar Ridge Distillery continues to be the home of Iowa's favorite bourbon with the original 86 bourbon whiskey. Not only is it always made with Iowa corn, but we let Iowa put its own stamp on the whiskey by aging it in non-climate controlled rickhouses. Make your next drink with Iowa's favorite, the original 86 bourbon by Cedar Ridge. Learn more at cedarridgedistillery.com. Cedar Ridge Distillery, Swisher, Iowa. Please drink responsibly.
Hawkeyes at Troy University coming up Saturday over at Kinnick Stadium. Another sold-out house on Gold Out Saturday. Wear your best gold, everybody. And the weather, again, appears to be absolutely spectacular. The long-range forecast over the next 3 or 4 days. And so we'll look forward to a great day over at Kinnick as the Hawks host Troy at 3 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. 1 o'clock for our pregame coverage here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Troy has been an opportunistic team on defense. They, like Iowa, love to force turnovers. They're averaging 21 points a game. The Hawks are averaging just under 30, but they're putting up 320 yards of offense on average their first 2 weeks. Now, they're 0-2. They played really good competition. Lost to Nevada by 2, 28-26, and then Memphis got them last week, 38-17 on the road, and now it's Iowa. They take on Florida A&M. They're in a good league, as Coach Ferentz alluded to last week on our postgame coverage over at Kinnick Stadium. In fact, Kirk has joined us right now. You've played other teams from their conference, Arkansas State most notably, but it's a good football league.
Yeah, you read my mind. I actually just referenced that game about an hour and a half ago with
Arkansas State?
Yeah, 24-21. So, yeah, it's a good conference for sure. And Troy had a really good ball club last year, and they've gone through a coaching change. Their coach moved on to Tulane. But so they're a team in transition right now, but it's a very competitive conference. A lot of the mid-majors, you got your Power Four, obviously, and but there are a lot of really good football teams and programs around the country.
Coach Gerard Parker, he's got a Big Ten lineage at Penn State on that staff. Was at Purdue for a few years. In fact, was acting head coach for one game at the end of the 2016 season when they dismissed Darrell Hazel. So at least you've got something to go on there.
Yeah, he certainly knows the conference, has been in conference, and then most recently in Notre Dame. So, as you mentioned, he's a good football coach. He knows Tim Lester. Tim and Gerard worked at Purdue together in that year you referenced in 16. So they're good friends. They know each other and have good respect for each other. And it's got a good staff. There's a lot of lineage. I spent a couple of years at West Virginia, and a couple of guys, both as coordinators, offensive and defensive coordinators, they all work together at West Virginia. So that's probably where most of the DNA, I think, that you see in their schemes would be traced back to that.
Kirk, I've said the first part of this week, a couple radio interviews, that this team is a lot like a MAC team. If Auburn or Alabama don't offer you, and Alabama has great high school football, as you know, they usually end up at Troy. I mean, they got great football history, multiple Division II championships. They won an FCS title a few years back. They've won 11 games each of the last 2 years. There's no smokescreen here.
Yeah, they've got a lot of upsets since 2004, I believe it was. They've beat Nebraska when 18, I think it was, over in Lincoln.
2016 or 20.
Year before, beat LSU, who's ranked nationally at that point. They beat them at LSU and had one of those wins against, I'm going way back here now, like 06 and 07. Can't remember who it was, but it was Mississippi State, I believe, and then somebody else. So, I mean, they've been on the road. They've played tough venues and have a history of, playing good football home and away. So, yeah, it's a challenge. And, the bottom line is every time you take the field in college football, you mentioned the MAC conference, there's a lot of good football teams out there. And, the old cliches, there's a reason they hang around. We saw that last weekend.
Indeed.
I did look it up. Notre Dame was 28-point favorites in that game. So I doubt many people picked Northern Illinois. But they certainly didn't get the memo. They went in there, played one heck of a game. And, that's what football's about. Every Saturday, you got to be at your best.
I know you live by the 24-hour rule. What sticks in your craw, though, about the game last Saturday as you reflect back?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things. And, that's it. Like anytime you lose a game, there are always plays you go back, win or lose. You just don't do it as often when you win a game. But you go back and look at it, and there are usually a handful of critical plays. And I think just in a nutshell, as I told the media yesterday, got down to we gave up 4 plays on defense. It's uncharacteristic of us. And that's something we try to work really hard on, is making our opponents have to work it down the field, not get easy plays, easy access. And those 4 plays all were directly involved with the scoring drive. So that was a big impact in the whole game. And then, on offense, to me the story is very simple, having the ball inside the 5 and not being able to convert at least 1 for a touchdown. And came away with 2 field goals, a lot of positives both sides. But, those things are the things that, at the end of the day, really – end up, being what gets you beat. And to their credit, they had the ball with not a lot of time, and they moved it. And, the field goal kicker made the kick of his life, to his credit. So, those are the things you have to do to win. And then conversely, the things I just referenced are the things you have to do to not lose. And those, if we're going to win games, you can't lose them.
Especially against quality opponents like the Cyclones. And those safeties are the real deal, led by Bo Freeler. And they were tough all day.
They are. I mean, we had a lot of respect for their defense and have, for quite some time. They do a great job there, and that's kind of been the basis of their program. And we also had a lot of respect for the receivers. And as we saw, legitimately so, they're good receivers, and the quarterback did a really nice job. So, that makes them a dangerous team, and we came up a little bit short.
Ken on Facebook at facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks says it seems there are a couple areas that that need the most improvement. Unable to push the ball across the goal in the first half on those 2 first and goals that you alluded to, and unable to pass successfully in the second half. Besides execution, what changes are likely needed to lead to improved performance? It's an age-old adage. When the field shrinks, you're limited as to what you can run or at least execute down in that area.
It is, and that's we always cover this in camp too. I mean, there are going to be times in every game, typically, but certainly in every season, where everybody knows what has to be done. So we know we got to run the ball. They know we got to run the ball. Everybody in the stands knows you got to run the ball. And you got to run the ball. So it's just it's fine that way. In fact, I heard James White talking about that on the radio coming in this morning. Just being in those situations, they were covering some of the NFL teams, 8 teams that were victorious, did a really good job in the run game, and obviously San Francisco being one of them. But he was just talking about, that's a great feeling. He's a running back, played for the Patriots, played at Wisconsin.
Great running back.
And totally understands that. So, yeah, that is the key. And, something I'll elaborate a little bit, I think, on you hate to be dwell on the things that we didn't do well, but to the point about those both those possessions, I'd look at it. We got our first, I guess, good field position was off Jay's, pick. He got the pick there, so we got the ball in the 12. Talking about ones that weren't converted, but we got the ball in the 12 there. You like to think you're going to get a touchdown, or at least, you got to get points, which we did. But again, you want to get the touchdown. The other field goal attempt was, I think, a 70. I think we started that one on the 20.
Yeah.
So it was a really good drive.
Yeah.
We just didn't finish, and you got to finish when you have that opportunity. But the bottom line is, we were inside the 5 on both of them and didn't took a negative yardage play on one. And, you just you got to find a way to get that done. So we'll continue to work on that. That is execution. It's planned. Maybe we got to tweak our plan a little bit, those types of things. And the other one I highlight, Gary, is the first touchdown drive. We took the opening kickoff. They deferred. We took the ball, drove it well out to midfield, past midfield. Had a great plus 50 punt where we downed it on the 1. Great job by Reese getting it there. The Gunners downed it. Defense did a great job 3 and out. We get the ball back on the 43 and take it in for a touchdown. That's good team football, complementary football. So, that's an example of something really going exactly the way you want it to. And then, conversely, you get Jay's pick there, a great field position, come out with 3 instead of 7. So, if we're going to be the kind of team we want to be, those are the things we have to get a little better at.
Well, it's early in the season, and playing quality competition, mistakes are made, but hopefully you remedy those going forward. Brandon has an interesting question, Coach. When you're reviewing a tape after a loss, what's the most important thing you're looking for? What's the first thing you try to hone in on?
That's a really open-ended question. I mean, there's so many things you're looking at. Obviously, the line play on both sides is really everything starts up front, offensively or defensively. Not every play, but as a general rule, you're looking for that. But you're just trying to look at the whole picture and see how it all goes together because, ultimately that's really typically the case on offense and typically the case on defense, typically the case on special teams. And, football at times, great play will be made by one player or a couple players that kind of go against the grain, if you will. Maybe protection breaks down, quarterback steps out, makes a great throw, and the receiver, makes a great play. Those kinds of things are really critical. If you're going to win, you got to do those. But you're not going to build a season off of those, if it makes sense. So, you're looking to see if everybody's got a concept or understands the concept of what you're trying to do, and then it's the execution of all 11 guys. And again, I would emphasize that it's not just offense. I think it's more important on offense, but it's good defensive play too.
Well, Coach Ferentz wasn't happy about the loss to the Cyclones. Neither was tight end Addison Estringa.
Obviously, it stings losing to Iowa State, but like you said, we just got to bounce back and learn from what happened on Saturday and learn from those mistakes and hopefully not let those happen again. I wouldn't say anything crazy different, just we got to focus on our fundamentals and try to execute every day on the practice field like we would in the game, and I wouldn't say there's anything crazy different.
Addison, boy, he gets better, especially in the blocking area by the snap, and you've seen it like we all have. But Cyclones did a good job on the tight ends last week. And when you look, if you're just going based on catches, and I know it isn't just receptions, but they had a good game plan.
They did, and those safeties are involved in that coverage too. So, those are their 3 best guys, I think. Not to, slight anybody else on their defense, but those 3 guys are kind of the backbone of their defensive structure, and they're there for a reason. And our tight ends are good players too. And Addison's a great young guy, going into his 3rd year now, a 3rd-year player, and really has done a great job. He improves each and every week, and a very competitive player.
Talk about Caleb Johnson. What are we seeing this year with his style, with his power? That I know is part of maturity, but what's the difference maker this year?
I think maturity is the biggest thing, and he's really focused right now. This has easily been the best 3 halves of football he's played here as a Hawkeye, and came in here with good ability, good skill set, and has done some really good things the last 2 years. I'm not trying to minimize those either, but he's doing everything better right now, and just really running with purpose. And you're seeing some of the long runs he has here up on the screen right now. I personally thought his couple of best runs were the ones at the end of the game where there was nothing there and he was making 6-7 yards.
Carrying guys with him.
Just through determination and a lot of grit there. So, if he can continue to improve like he has the last couple of weeks, it's going to be a good thing for us.
quarterback Cade McNamara, 99 yards passing. You credit the defense, but you also look for improved play there going forward. How's Cade's mindset this week in your conversations?
Yeah, no, he's doing fine. He's doing fine. It's he's not playing the level he wants to be at, and it's funny. I was just thinking about this a little while ago too. I don't know. I've got some life experience in a lot of categories, but I don't know if we've had a quarterback who's a guy who's had demonstrated success on the field. Basically led his team to a Big Ten championship. That counts for something, I think. But then who in turn has missed 2 years basically with injury. So seeing that with 1 year, 1 year departures, those types of things. So I guess what I'm trying to get at, I'm not sure what the path back is. What is to be expected, et cetera. But the thing he is doing, he's working really hard. He is improving, and it's just a matter of we've seen some real flashes of him looking good out there. Now it's a matter of getting the consistency that he wants, and I think we all would love to see.
10 games left for sure. That 10 more opportunities.
Exactly right.
Like to say so. Cade will only get better, no question. All right, Coach.
I also was thinking about we had a guy in the building on Sunday, in for the game, who probably didn't have a very strong fan club back in 2002 after 2 games either. But it turned out okay. So
you speak of Brad Banks?
Yeah. Brad was in, just came through the offices on Sunday. Great to see him. But, it just sometimes it's you got to work through some things, and that's, I think, what we're looking at right here.
Heisman runner-up, not too bad.
Turned out okay. It's a long season.
Yes, indeed. Many thought he should have had it, but Carson Palmer isn't bad either.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. All right, Coach, take a breath. We'll come back in just a minute. Do you have Hawkeyes Midwest in your farming game plan? Hawkeyes Bio 800-plus products are enriched with soil microbes to build soil health and increase your yield. Soil nourishing, root stimulation. That's Hawkeyes Midwest. Head to Hawkeyesmidwest.com for more information. That's Hawkeyesmidwest.com. Hawkeyes sponsors our Kirk Ferentz interviews halftime and postgame each and every Saturday here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. And you can entertain your clients or employees at each home game this season in Hawkeye Village. Hawkeye Village is alive again, presented by Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. Navigate Wellbeing Solutions. Village packages include game tickets and catered food. Visit HawkeyeSports.com for more details. HawkeyeSports.com. Navigate Wellbeing Solutions, a proud partner of Iowa Hawkeye football. We're at View Rooftop. We're coming right back in a minute. More of your questions, your tweets, your Facebook posts, emails, text messages. You can reach us in a number of ways. That's all ahead here on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford Tough Trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Hi, I'm Gary Dolphin, and if you want your home to be exceptionally comfortable during these cold Iowa winters and hot, humid summers, you need to turn to Dave Lennox and your local Lennox home comfort specialist. Lennox has been serving Iowa consumers since 1895, when Dave Lennox built his first furnace in Marshalltown, and Lennox is still building its high-efficiency furnaces and air conditioners there today. For the best home comfort system you can buy, it's Lennox and your local Lennox dealer. Lennox and the Hawkeyes. Now there's a winning combination.
At MidAmerican Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. MidAmerican Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
We're back on Hawk Talk from View Rooftop. Gary Dolphin with the head football coach of the Hawkeyes, Kirk Ferentz. Of course, coach is busy studying tape of Troy University. The Trojans are up next on Saturday afternoon at Kinnick Stadium. 3 o'clock kick, and our pregame coverage starts at 1 o'clock here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. If you're coming to the game, be sure and wear your best gold. I don't think I've ever seen you in gold on the sidelines on Gold Out Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know if I have any gold stuff, actually. Coaching, I have some, like, dry-fit shirts, but
yes,
probably not appropriate for game
it's
day.
either black or white.
Yeah.
You'd be hard to find on the sideline with gold blending into all those bright colors, but we'll have 70,000 wearing gold on Saturday. Coach, tell us about Troy, big picture. Coach Gerard in his first year. Have you been able to find some tape of his other stops? He's an offensive guy.
He is, and it's always, interesting. Every season's interesting. So, first two opponents, we've played teams that have been very established, programs that are established, staffs that have been there quite some time. Brock had been Illinois State since 2009, and Coach Campbell over at Iowa State. And their staffs were pretty much locked in, the offensive and defensive coordinators and special teams. So, we didn't have much game film from this year. Obviously, none for Illinois State, one game for Iowa State. And so this is just the exact flip. Okay, we have 2 games of film at least, but really, if you look at their schematic system, Coach Parker was at Notre Dame last year. Both coordinators, as I referenced, were West Virginia guys, and then the special teams coach comes from Akron. So you'll see some Akron film in our cut-ups. Looking at that, looking at their schemes, trying to project what might be something we'd have to expect. We're not using any West Virginia tape, but at least we've got 2 games now. And the other thing that this is kind of a reflection of modern day football. Their roster was very depleted when Coach Parker got there because a lot of guys transferred out, graduated or transferred out. Many followed the coach, I believe, to Tulane. I think I'm correct. So, they've got a roster that's kind of remade, if you will. A lot of guys from different places, and I'm sure that's impacting the way they install their offense and defensive systems. And they're probably just trying to make sure whatever they do, they're sound with their guys. So good news is we have 2 good films to look at. And but all that being said, I guess we just still need to make sure we're sound and make sure we're really flexible because, we could see some things that haven't been on film the first 2 weeks.
They've had some notable injuries ironically, at quarterback and center.
Yep.
Which so they're playing some guys that were at the very least backups.
He had a press conference on Monday, I believe, and based on his comments, it sounds like they'll both be here and going. So the quarterback came from West Virginia. Big surprise there. They lost a good guy, but they got a guy who's a good thrower, so good player. And they had their third guy came in and did a nice job at Memphis last Saturday. So, they got some guys, 3 good receivers, and they've got a really good group of running backs on top of it. Big, good-sized, physical offensive line, good tight ends. So, they can move the ball, and we're going to have to do a good job being sound and tackling well.
The entire offensive line, all over 300. They average about 310. That looks a lot like Iowa State's offensive line from a week ago. Goose Crowder is the quarterback. I love that name, Goose.
They had Gunner last year, and now they got the Goose.
From Gunner
to Goose.
It sounds like a sitcom of some kind. Gunner and Goose. Well, it'll be Goose under center. on Saturday. Let's go back to social media here, Coach. On Twitter, Jerry, Coach, what criteria do you follow in determining Iowa's non-conference schedule? Iowa State has been a given for a lot of years, since 1977, and whether or not that changes in the near future is anybody's guess. But what about the rest of your non-conference schedule? Where do you see that going?
Yeah, I think we've been pretty consistent. So, we play Iowa State annually, and then so it's almost like, in my mind, it's 10 conference games.
Yes.
It has that type of intensity, and certainly they're an outstanding program. Then we've typically played either a MAC or a mid-major conference school, such as Troy. So we try to look that way, and then typically one FCS program as well. So that's kind of been the formula that we followed, and I'm not sure what it's going to look like as we move forward. None of us ever thought there would be 18 teams in the Big Ten.
Sure.
So I don't know at some point if we'll start playing 10 conference games or not. I know that gets bandied about a little bit, but we'll just stay loose. But that's kind of the general format.
Ron and Waverly, Coach, now that the season started, is the staff or your backroom guys still actively scouring the transfer portal daily, or has that window closed for this year?
Yeah, it opens up, I guess, in December. But, it's not real active right now. So, no, we're not looking more at high school prospects. And then, another interesting spinoff there. The proposal right now that's out there, it hasn't been confirmed, but it sounds like we're going to have our rosters reduced to 105.
Oh.
So, that's going to be really interesting. And common sense would say we would, do that on a gradual basis. But there's a very good chance if we do that, it's going to be like next fall. So that's really going to alter how you put your roster together. We can't get too far down the road with our recruiting thoughts right now until we know more about what the constraints are going to be and what the limitations are going to be. And there's a lot of things pending right now, a lot of things up in the air, and imagine that.
I'm chuckling.
Yeah.
I read 2 articles over the weekend, not dealing so much with the transfer portal, but with the NIL.
Yep.
And it sounds like the NCAA and the Presidential Committee representing the universities are still a ways apart on finding a solution in the end as to how much money is committed to this area and so forth.
Yeah, there's a lot of different avenues, a lot of things being discussed, and I'm not pretending to know all the details. Beth knows a lot more about that stuff than I do, but it's clearly cloudy right now what it's going to look like here 6 months from now and 12 months from now. So we're just kind of you just kind of sit and gather information without really knowing what exactly. But I mean, all that being said, there's certain things you're going to do. You're going to recruit X amount of guys, and start on the small side and then maybe build from there.
One more before we go to break. Jackson Waterloo. I've noticed number 43, Shire, Carson Shire, he speaks of, on special teams the last couple of weeks, and he seems to be very active and athletic. Can you tell me more about Carson? He's been a mainstay for you.
Yeah, really good young prospect, and he's playing behind a veteran group right now who got more veteran in January when all of our linebackers decided to come back for that extra year or so. Carson potentially would have been a starter this year. I think he'd play very well for us. One good thing about having the veteran guys back last spring gave us a chance to, give guys like Carson a lot more work, and Jaden Harrell, and we get to really see more of those guys and rested the other guys. Not rested them, but didn't work giving them as much repetition because they played so much in the fall. And so he's going to be a really good football player, really active. Certainly, I think could do a great job as a starter right now, and has been to that point. Really doing a good job on special teams, and that's been for a while. Excited about him. Yep.
Yeah, he like Kyler Fisher have made some spectacular open field, one-on-one tackles in key third down situations.
And those are really hard plays to make. So you don't want to minimize that. That's really something good. Yeah, he's a really good athlete, very aggressive. Quick to the football, and gets there with a good mindset.
Thanks for asking, Jack and Waterloo. Carson Shire, 6'2", 235-pound sophomore from Iowa Falls and Alden, great Hawkeye country up that way. We're at View Rooftop. Speaking of great Hawkeye country, everybody's here decked out in their black and gold tonight. Thanks so much for coming out. Thanks so much for listening on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Throughout the Iowa Corn Cyhawk series, Iowa Corn promotes honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. On behalf of Iowa's corn farmers, we salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field, representing your University of Iowa. Just like our top athletes, our state leads the nation in corn and ethanol production. Go to iowacorn.org, iowacorn.org, and learn how corn grows Iowa. A special guest when we come back here with Coach Ferentz on Hawk Talk from Learfield.
When you live in the Midwest, you're accustomed to leading the nation in certain things, from corn and pork production to eggs and soybeans. And now we're adding another product to that list, clean, renewable wind energy. By investing in wind turbines and partnering with area farmers and landowners, Mid-American Energy is harvesting wind power that's homegrown right in our very own backyard, which not only provides customers with low, stable energy rates, but also the support to make our Midwest communities safer and stronger.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
At U.S. Bank, when they say they're in it with you, they mean it. Not just for the good stuff, the grand openings and celebrations, although those are pretty great, but for all the hard work it took to get there, the fine-tuning of goals, the managing of cash and workflows, and decision-making. They're in to help you through all of it, because together they're proving day in and day out that there is nothing as powerful as the power of us. Visit usbank.com to get started today. Equal housing lender, member FDIC, copyright 2024, U.S. Bank.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever. Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. Corn can even fuel your drive to watch the Hawkeyes play when you choose Unleaded 88. It's a fuel that's cheaper, cleaner, and greener. Plus, it's homegrown, making Unleaded 88 the clear choice at the pump and totally worth the hype. So as you head to cheer on the Hawkeyes this season, don't just fuel up. Pump it up with Unleaded 88. Find Unleaded 88 at a station near you. Go to iowacorn.org/88.
Hawkeye fans, have you thanked a farmer today? Iowa's nearly 85,000 farms generate over $30 billion in sales and over 80,000 jobs each year, providing feed, fuel, and food for the world. Please join the University of Iowa as we support farmers across the state during this weekend's 9th annual Harvest Game at Kinnick Stadium when the Hawkeyes take on Troy. A special thanks to this year's Harvest Game partners, including the Iowa John Deere dealers, FS High Soy Soybeans, and Farm Credit Services of America.
We're back at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. A beautiful facility, the restaurant bar on the 12th floor. Great view of downtown Iowa City and the surrounding Johnson County area. And they invite you out for the Hawkeye game this Saturday. If you don't have a ticket and you're not going to the game, call View Rooftop here at the Hilton Garden Inn for reservations. Come on out. Enjoy the Hawkeye Radio Network. Watch the game on their many flat screens. 319-519-4650. That's the phone number. 319-519-4650. Coach, it's another terrific year. There's so many worthy candidates for the University of Iowa Hospital's Kid Captain Health Clinic and Kid Captains. And we've got 18-year-old Maya Gilchrist from Center Point front and center this weekend, and we're going to hear from Maya in just a minute about how thrilled she is to be a University of Iowa Hospital's Kid Captain. It's a program that's been in place for a lot of years now, and there's none better.
Unbelievable, and I'm glad I'm not on the panel that has to select the 12 recipients, because what a tough task that is. But all the stories are just absolutely unbelievable, and I think you're going to elaborate a little bit on Maya's story. I'll share this. We just had a team meeting. We do one every Wednesday night before we break up offensively and defensively. And one of the things I talk to our guys about is keeping things in perspective. And it's hard to lose As I said yesterday, a lot of people feel that. Our fans are unbelievable. I know they're disappointed. Certainly nobody's more disappointed than the players, than anybody, because they're the ones out there working and competing. Obviously, everybody involved in the organization's disappointed. But, life goes on. And you think about Maya's struggles, her challenges, and then the amazing attitude she has. Like that's really commendable. So, you got to keep this stuff in perspective. We're all trying to win and do our best to win. But, if you get knocked down, you get back up on your feet and you go back to work. And Maya's certainly a living example of that.
Well, she's not only got knocked down once, but 4 times in her young life. It's just an amazing story, as they all are. This week's University of Iowa Healthcare Stead Family Children's Hospital kid captain. She's 18 years old now. When Maya was born, at about 18 months, she was diagnosed with a tumor of the brainstem and given a 10% chance of survival. Well, our great surgeons at UIHC removed most of the tumor, and then Maya began 74 weeks of chemotherapy. At ages 5 and 12, her cancer relapsed, prompting another 18 months of chemotherapy each time. And then they cleaned that up for the most part, but in 2022, doctors diagnosed Maya with a rare blood cancer, a condition that causes her bone marrow to make too many red blood cells. So coming up on November 18th, Maya will undergo additional testing to assess her treatment. What a trooper, what a brave soul Maya Gilchrist is. And I sat down with her this afternoon and I asked her, with all the hurdles you've had to leap over, one seemingly more difficult than the other, what motivates you, what drives you every day?
Being fortunate enough to have the treatment options that I do and have those options out there, and with my care team too, they're amazing, and they treat me as a person, and they're like my second family. So yeah, I really appreciate all the support and stuff everybody's given me throughout this, and I just keep going with a smile and happiness, and yeah, helping others too is my big motto. So.
Well, you got a great family, not only at home, but at Stead Family Children's Hospital, don't you? Have you peered out the windows on game day at the top of the floor up there?
Yes, I have. When I was going through treatment this last time, I was up there during one of the games, and it was really cool to see the game and see the wave and all that stuff. So it's really cool to be on the other side, on both sides of it. And I actually went to my first Hawkeye game last year and waved in the student section with my cousins and stuff, and that was amazing.
Well, very few people get to go to center field like you today and wave at 70,000 people because you are a kid captain. That's a special honor.
Yes, it's a very special honor. I think it even makes it more special because I chose the song We Wave by Dallas Jacobus, and he's actually flying back with his wife to come watch the game, which is even more special. He's been texting me, and he's messaging me. He's like, I'm coming. He's like, I'll be there. So we made him shirts and stuff, too, for him and his girlfriend. So, yeah, it's amazing.
It's beautiful. Tell us about your family, brothers, sisters, mom, and dad.
I have a lot in my family. My parents have been amazing. They've been what have kept me here on this earth, along with my care team and stuff, and they chose the right decisions for me. But my siblings have been amazing too. I have 5 sisters and 5 girls and 2 boys. So yeah, there's a lot of us in our family.
5 girls in one family. Well, your parents are absolute saints.
For sure.
Who do you want to say hi to in Alburnett today? Alburnett High School, maybe? All your classmates?
Yeah, all my classmates. Last week on Friday, we did a wave for the Children's Hospital, and we raised money for the 11th floor. And I actually put a video together, and I had a drone guy come out. His name's Tanner Hole, so thank you so much for doing this such a last minute. But we actually got to do the wave at the end of the first quarter, and we videoed it. The guy videoed it and sent it to me. And yeah, it's really cool to see everybody, coming out for a good cause. And we raised, I think, just over $300 for the 11th floor, so that's amazing.
Beautiful. When you get all this behind you, and you will, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to be when you grow up, Maya?
So a lot of people have asked me this. I want to be a nurse when I grow up. Yeah, I'm currently a CNA, and I work in assisted living and memory care, Emory Place, and I love all my residents.
I love all my residents. She's got more energy than energy equal to the entire football team. She is such a special young lady at 18 years old to go through what she's been through. It's very awe-inspiring, Coach. I got to tell you.
Yeah, what a great attitude. I've gotten to know quite a few people at the Children's Hospital through Mary, basically. And one thing I really noticed, and any parent that's ever had a sick kid just knows your whole world stops. You can imagine the journey the whole Gilchrist family's been on, and it's been a long one. So that first things first. That's your top priority. But what I've also noticed just in the area of the care that they receive, she referred to her team as her team, and there is a team effort. It's the doctors, it's the nurses, the therapists, so many people involved with helping the kids. And the other thing I've noticed, there's always family involved, too, with the kid medicine. Unlike orthopedics, with all due respect, but, we deal with more with orthopedics as a coach. But then, when you get involved in this stuff, you just see that there's a real sense of community. And after the patients leave the hospital, there's still connectivity, even though they're gone 5 years. All those people that work with the patients tend to stay in touch with them. And, it's a real different aspect of medicine compared to the other ones. But and I'm not minimizing the work that gets done in the entire hospital system. It's just fantastic. But there is something about the Children's Hospital that's very, very special.
Well, I appreciate Maya sitting down with that interview today, and she wants to be a nurse. She wants to help other people, and especially the elderly and assisted living homes, and she'll get it done. You're not going to deny her what she wants to do.
I would not bet against her by any stretch. Nope.
So thank you, UIHC, University of Iowa Healthcare, for working your miracles every day over at Stead Family Children's Hospital. All right, we'll step out, come back and talk more Iowa-Troy football in just a minute. We're at View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City with the head coach of the Hawkeyes, Coach Ferentz. This is Hawk Talk from Learfield.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Hey, hungry? And your heart is ticking for chicken? Well, take a quick turn into Quickstar, because we got
no ordinary chicken.
Yeah, go wild with wings. Next level super wings with trusty sidekick and sauces. Or let's talk tender. Quick chick tenders. Love me tenders. Love me some quick tenders. Ours are bigger, better, tastier. Or if you're feeling good old school comfort fried chicken, we got it. Hand breaded, down homier than anywhere. Quickstar, saving your nuggets from ordinary.
Hey Hawkeye fans, Nick Jackson with Iowa Football here. Your support in the stands is critical to our success on game day, but now you have another way to make a real impact. Join the Swarm today and partner with my teammates and me to service charities throughout Iowa. Together, we're making our state stronger and helping Iowa athletics become the place where we experience the thrill of winning championships. Head to iowaswarm.com for more information. Let's make a difference, Hawkeye Nation.
Treat yourself to one of our award-winning entrees at the Machine Shed. Come get your hands around one of our famous pork tenderloins, our most popular sandwich, served either deep-fried golden brown or unbreaded and grilled. Or try our roasted stuffed Iowa chop that is stuffed with a warm apple raisin dressing and glazed with an apple whiskey sauce. Trust me, you won't regret it. This is Jeff Grunder, and we can't wait to have you over for dinner at the Machine Shed.
I-80 and Hickman Road, Urbandale, and I-80 and Northwest Boulevard, Davenport.
The silly moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. They're what make life remarkable. And they're why Wellmark Blue Cross and Blue Shield is here for every moment. Committed to making healthcare better, more affordable, with more choices for care. And service and coverage that give you peace of mind no matter what comes your way. So you can show up for every tender moment, every brave moment, and every wouldn't miss it for the world moment, knowing that Blue is here for you. Go to Wellmark.com/every moment to find a plan right for you.
Hello, Hawkeye fans. This is Bruce Gerlman, and I own Jethro's Barbecue. Have you heard the news? It's really big news. Jethro's Barbecue is now open in Coralville. That's right, across from the Hawkeye softball diamonds on the Coralville Strip. Jethro's is your game day headquarters. Call ahead and order your tailgate barbecue from Jethro's. Before the game, during the game, after the game, stop in Jethro's and eat my amazing slow smoked wings and my world famous baby back ribs.
Hawk Talk rolls on from View Rooftop in downtown Iowa City. Welcome back to our text messaging, our Facebook, our emails. You can text us on the Hawkeye Radio Network, whatever you'd like to with Coach Ferentz. He's game. He's open to whatever your thoughts are. And we're going to go back to our Facebook page here. Walter from Creston, Coach. This is by no means a criticism. I like when it's always prefaced that way. But just a curiosity.
That's a dangerous preface.
Well, yeah. I read it over. So. Okay. But just a curiosity, if you thought about taking a timeout to freeze the Iowa State kicker at the end of the game last week, what goes into your thought process at that point of a game?
You know, it's not very scientific. It's all superstition. And I'm trying to remember the last time I did it, but it didn't work. So I vowed that, we'll never do that again, or I'll never do that again. I don't know. I'm not a great believer in it. And, to me, if anything else, it just gives the guy even more chance to get things lined up and get things the way they want them and that type of thing. So, quite frankly, I think it's probably one of the more inconsequential decisions you could make. But, go there. But never say never, because I also said the same thing after we deferred one time and, it didn't go well. The game didn't go well. I remember saying, we'll never defer again. We're always going to take the ball. But we've backed down off that, too, a little bit. And so, you just kind of reassess things. But that's one that, I don't know. And I'll go to another topic since we're talking about stuff I'm still not sure of. The 2-point chart, I'm still trying to figure that out because we went for 2 the other day on our second opportunity. First one, we just went for the 1. And I'm still not sure, the advantages, disadvantages. That to me is still really cloudy. I know they got that chart. I think we got tracked down who makes that chart, and maybe I need to have a phone call conversation with that person and get some stuff explained.
The odds of succeeding on a 2-point try is what you're referring to.
Yeah, and then the other part about that, so do you do it in the third quarter and not the fourth or vice versa? More the argument probably the other way. But, where is that line to make that decision? It's at the end of the game, it's pretty obvious what you need to do, but those third quarter things. So we talked about that Sunday as a staff, and I'm going to circle back. They don't know it, but I'm going to circle back what they do if they listen to this show. We'll talk about it again tomorrow. Just, I don't have the right answer. I don't have an answer on that one. Just not sure what the right answer is.
Walter and Creston appreciate the inquisition, though. Tim's in Waukee. Tim wants to know, as far as the evaluation of players and groups of players, do you hand out grades and evaluations for each player by position after every game, or is it more by group?
Yeah, so, he may be interested in this answer, and maybe other people will be too. So, typically, every coach does it by position. They grade every play, and then they give that to the players and what have you. And I can't remember what year it was, but I quit doing that. So I'd give the guys feedback, and I'd give them, it'd be written out and all that kind of stuff, but I wouldn't give them grades. And the reason was this, what I found was you get in the room there, and instead of the player watching the film, taking coaching and trying to get better, they wanted to nitpick why did I get a minus here, or why did I, the grades became more important than the film and the performance. That was my experience, and I just, I would always hand the grades into the head coach so he had something in his file and he could read it and all that jazz. But I just quit giving it to the players, and my request was, how about listening to what I'm saying? Let's watch what's up on the screen, and take something. Don't worry about your damn grade. If it's not good enough, I'll let you know that.
The film doesn't lie.
Yeah, it doesn't. The grades are really irrelevant in my opinion. And I'm not one of these guys that everybody gets an A or everybody gets a D. I'm not one of those people either, but. Let's do our coaching and conversation in the room where it's up on the film, and we can really discuss things and talk about getting better instead of nitpicking over this or that, that kind of stuff. So
well said.
That's probably not the average way to do things, but I just quit doing that. Just screw it. Like, we're trying to get better. We're trying to learn. All right? Not worry about grades.
You've quit doing a lot of things in your elderly coaching stage. Good for you.
I was young when I did that. I just, we started getting worried about all the wrong stuff.
Well, your degree of success over 30-some years in coaching speaks for itself. All right, we'll take a break, come back. We're winding down this week's Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. Iowa and Troy coming up from Kinnick Stadium Saturday at 3. Our pregame coverage starts at 1 on the Hawkeye Radio Network. Don't fight hungry, Iowa. With Wendy's new Hawkeye Biggie Bundle, you can score a JBC, a 4-piece nugget, junior fry, small soft drink, and a small Frosty at the Iowa nice price of just $7 at Wendy's. Grab Herky's favorite at a participating Wendy's for a limited time, and go Hawks. Hawkeye Athletics would like to thank the Iowa John Deere dealers, FS High Soy Soybeans, and Farm Credit Services of America for their partnership as we celebrate and support farmers during Saturday's 9th annual harvest game at Kinnick Stadium. Thank you, Iowa John Deere dealers, FS High Soy Soybeans, and Farm Credit Services of America. Back with Coach in our remaining moments on this week's Hawk Talk from View Rooftop in just a minute, presented by Learfield.
Hawkeye fans, have you thanked a farmer today? Iowa's nearly 85,000 farms generate over $30 billion in sales and over 80,000 jobs each year, providing feed, fuel, and food for the world. Please join the University of Iowa as we support farmers across the state during this weekend's 9th annual harvest game at Kinnick Stadium when the Hawkeyes take on Troy. A special thanks to this year's harvest game partners, including the Iowa John Deere dealers, FS High Soy Soybeans, and Farm Credit Services of America.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success on and off the field requires a strong work ethic with a focus on improvement. Our players share the drive and determination of Iowa farm families, and that's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Please join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate farmers during A&F Game Day on October 12th. For more information and to win game day tickets, visit americaneedsfarmers.org. Hey Hawkeyes, this is Coach Ferentz. We're excited to partner with Iowa Corn for another football season. And Iowa Corn is pumped up for the season with the Hawkeyes. For those of you that drive to the game, support Iowa's corn farmers by selecting unleaded 88 at the pump. It's a fuel choice that's cheaper, homegrown, and better for the planet. It's worth the hype. Get pumped up for unleaded 88. Let's go Hawks.
At Mid-American Energy, our 1.6 million customers depend on our energy 24/7. That's why we work 24/7 to deliver the safe, reliable energy you need. To keep our 99.9% reliability record, we're enhancing our technology, improving resiliency, and investing in critical infrastructure. We're generating power from all available resources to cover any increases in demand. And we're innovating to ensure you always have the energy you need. Mid-American Energy, obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever. Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Hey, we're back with our English teacher, Coach Ferentz, talking about grading players during the break.
Is that a throwback?
Well, it is somewhat of a. You're a throwback. But you made a great point during the break. If the NFL, if a defensive tackle, you don't hear from him for 85% of the game, but he makes one sack, maybe one tackle for loss, he's going to be all-pro. If he does one a game.
That's all he's got to do.
That's just, and there's a lot of good ones. Yep. Two of your favorites were John Randall with the Vikings and, of course, Howie Long, who could get by most blockers in the offensive line.
They were my favorites if we weren't playing them. So
right, for sure.
They were tough to go against. Wow.
Coach, back to Sam is on Facebook. Sam in Ames, a Hawkeye fan over in Ames. It seems to be, he's had a rough week, but that's okay, Sam. We've all had a tough week. Sam says it seems to be much more challenging to get the ball into the hands of Luke Lachey so far this early season. What's your opinion as to why? Well, obviously defenses are paying more attention to Luke.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing against us, you're going to start there. And I just saw a clip a couple days ago. It was Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia talking, and it was an interview with Kelsey, and just about the impact he had as a center. But my point there is, every good defensive staff and team, they always highlight the guys that are, who do we have to stop this week? And, yeah, Luke's going to get attention, so we got to do a better job of getting him free and getting him involved, because he's certainly one of our better players. But credit to the teams we've played thus far. They've done a good job trying to neutralize him a little bit.
Okay, appreciate the question or the comments, Sam. We talked earlier about Troy's offense, particularly at quarterback, but what do they like to do defensively? What have you seen?
They're an odd front. We've played 3 odd fronts in a row now, except last week is a whole different category because of that 3 safety scheme that they play. So they're not a classic, if you will, odd front, but these guys are. They're a pure 3-man front up front, and then 4 linebacker defense, and both guys on the outside are athletic and disruptive, and middle linebacker and the strong safety. Leading tacklers, so they're a good group, very athletic and run well, and it's going to be a unique challenge for us, another kind of challenge, if you will, and hopefully we'll be ready to roll.
Well, they lost by 2 against Nevada at home, and then lost at Memphis. Now Memphis has a solid program, has for a number of years, so clearly they're a very competitive outfit under Coach Parker in year 1.
Yeah, they are, and they're like I said, they're putting it all together. A lot of guys from different places, be it their coaching staff or the team. So they're a work in progress, but, I think we have a good grip on what to expect, and then we'll just see what happens on Saturday.
Couple weeks now with the headset audio with the helmets and the iPads, and the players have had a lot thrown at them. Now, not everybody's got audio on the helmet, obviously. You have a designated Cade would be on offense and one on defense, but How have things gone for the first 2 weeks, would you say?
I think really good. We had a little problem with the video stuff where player 2 might have been missing off. But overall, it's a great teaching aid. I think everybody benefits from it, and on both teams. I mean, both sidelines, it's good for both teams involved. And the helmet to player things, I think, are a really good thing, too. So, to me, they're both positive things. The ironic thing is the video stuff. I mean, high schools have been using this for years. So at least we've caught up to high school football that way. But so that's a big positive step. But the coach-to-player thing is really a good thing, and it just makes the game better, I think, for everybody, not just one team.
Coach, we got about 30 seconds left. We had a couple comments on from Jacob Gill earlier tonight before you got here. That young man has made his presence felt, the transfer from Northwestern.
Yeah, very impressive. He walked in here in June, and it's just done nothing but good things. He works hard. He's a really good football player, tough-minded kid, and a really mature, high-character guy.
See you Saturday at Kinnick, Coach.
Appreciate it, Gary. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach Ferentz. Thank you for everybody coming out to view Rooftop tonight. We'll be back next Wednesday. Next Wednesday, we'll preview the Big Ten opener at Minnesota. But first things first, Troy at 3 o'clock on Saturday. Good night from View Rooftop in Iowa City.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. Hawk Talk has been brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Call 811 before you dig. It's the law. Visit MidAmericanEnergy.com for natural gas safety tips. Iowa corn. You might think Iowa just grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. Brought to you by Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and the Iowa Corn Promotion Board. By your local Ford dealers. U.S. Cellular, the official wireless partner of the Iowa Hawkeyes. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Also brought to you by University of Iowa Healthcare, changing medicine, changing lives. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.